Welcome back into Hold My Banner. Kasey, Hudson, and Ountae Campbell giving you your off-season entertainment breakdowns, information, all the goods that one can get when it comes to the NBA conversation. I teased it, I alluded to it, and whether or not you watched it, there was plenty of notes to take from it. Summer League ends with a dub. We got the Boston Celtics that wrapped up Summer League with a 4-1. And look, this is a positive because at least the first couple of games, would they take off 2-0 before things got a little shaky there? You saw the excitement, you saw the chatter on Twitter. I'll never call it X, don't ask me to. But then you saw people kind of rallying behind some of these young names.
Yeah.
Now, draft, we all kind of, I think, had the same reaction. If I'm speaking for you, correct me. It wasn't sexy.
Right.
But we had to make really big moves to finesse a sexy pick. And I loved the education from some of the guests that you had on here. They kind of broke down the fact of like the only usable picks are 1 through 10, and 10 could be a stretch. So the biggest name that we have to start on when it comes to Summer League, what we learned and what fans may have started to get on board with is going to be Hugo González.
Yep.
And what you saw from him and what that can depict in terms of like how Boston Celtics ready he will be eventually.
Yeah, I think it's going to take a little while, honestly. You know, and I am still really high on Hugo. I think he's going to be a good player in this league one day. I really do believe that. I just think that the scoring ability right now is not where it needs to be at, and we knew that coming in. But
where did your mind change too? Because I want fans to see the picture of like the first 2 games that took place. Because game 1 it was just like, hell yeah, we're doing this.
Right.
And then the mood.
No, and even before game 1, you know what I
leading
mean?
into it.
I came in the night after the draft, you know what I mean? You guys had me on Boston Internet Chat, talked to you guys, came on Banner, talked about it, and I was excited about this kid, and I still am, you know what I mean? I'm getting goosebumps right now just talking about him. I mean, this kid is athletic, he's long, he can defend multiple positions. I mean, he's everything that you want from a 20-year-old, you know what I'm saying? A 19-year-old, however old this kid is, you know what I mean?
An actual kid in NBA terms.
Yeah, he's a child, you know, and the issues that I'm having when I'm watching him play is that, you know, his basketball IQ is really high, but he gets out of position a lot because he's aggressive and he knows he can get in passing lanes, but it's not Euro basketball, it's not EuroLeague basketball. EuroLeague is a really good league. But the NBA is all about athleticism, and these dudes are a lot faster. They throw those passes a little bit quicker, you know what I mean? And plays happen just a little bit, you know what I mean, snappier.
Tone faster.
And so when he's playing, he has to be able to process things a little bit faster, and it's going to take a while. This year, we're looking at the roster, we're looking at the depth, and we're looking at guys that we could possibly be bringing in. Even if we aren't bringing in guys, you're looking at a Derek White in front of him. You're looking at a JB in front of him. You're looking at a Baylor Shireman in front of him. You're looking at a Jordan Walsh probably in front of him. You're looking at, you know, even the guards, Anthony Simons, you know, a Peyton Pritchard. Those are a lot of people that got to either
move or shuffle around.
Move around, miss time, whatever, for this dude to get real NBA minutes.
Yes.
George said it from the beginning. He's probably going to be playing some games in the G League this year. That's not a problem. But his development as a player is vital, honestly, vital for the Boston Celtics over the next couple of years because, this year might not be their year. Next year, we have to see what happens with Tatum. But 2 years after that, after Tatum's, you know, return, we're probably looking at a real version of Jason Tatum. And you want to have guys ready. He could be one of those guys that jumps a Baylor Shireman, jumps a Jordan Walsh.
Yeah.
We could be talking about a most improved season 3 years from now, which would be huge for a kid like this.
Yeah, and you don't want to enable his learning curve from, you know, the European League to coming here because pointing out the fact that he was out of position a lot. I'm going to compare a number of sports here because for me, everyone knows I played soccer and I cover hockey, but getting out of position, you're not going to really fit the defensive DNA here. And wasn't his defensive abilities either a question mark or something that probably needed to be sharpened on the NBA
just sharpened,
level?
just the IQ a little bit.
Exactly.
But yes, but he always had the ability. That's what you want. You want a guy who has the ability, the talents, the raw, natural athleticism to be a good defender.
Yeah, because then the adjustment can come a little bit quicker, but that can be so costly. And if you don't hyper focus on that now and let him get the reps to understand this better, you're looking at a liability down the stretch and how that's going to help this team. It's not going to. Do you think that the right reps can come in the G League to help him kind of fine tune those things?
100%. I mean, I said the NBA is all athleticism. The G League is really just that. It's just guys who are in there athletic, and then guys who are just buckets, you know what I mean? Just bucket getters. But it's mostly a lot of really raw talent in there, and that's going to teach him a lot because the NBA has its athletes, but hey, in the G League, there's some dudes who don't know anything but set a hard screen, roll to the rim, throw it up as high as you can, and you're getting dunked on, you know what I'm saying? So if he's not in the right positions, he'll learn really, really fast with the spacing, with the vertical ability of the G League. That, hey man, if I'm not in the right spot, it's gonna be highlight city, highlight city. I mean, you even see it like we talk about Bronny James and like his ability to play the NBA game. Is he ready? All this other stuff. And then I've watched him in person. I've watched G League games online of Bronny James. He gets to it. He gets to that rim. He's dunking on dudes, and he's 6'3".
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So imagine what and he's one of the better players.
Got to work a little harder with his size.
Right. He's one of the better players in the G League. But I mean, shoot, that matchup that he had with Hugo, he torched him. I'm being honest. You know what I mean? Like Bronny got to the spots that he wanted to get to, and took the shots that he wanted to take. He didn't have a great game overall against the Boston Celtics, but when he was matched up against Hugo Gonzalez, he showed that Hugo was 19. You know what I mean? And that Bronny's been here before, which is what you would expect. Yeah. But, yeah, Hugo's going to learn some things in the G League for sure.
Yeah, and I think that was an important picture to paint because sometimes, I mean, in any professional sport, you hear about, like, their farm team, their development system, and you just kind of, like, minimize the capability there, or you don't want them there too long, but we can't speed everything up. So now having a better understanding of where Hugo is and where his development can come into terms, you've got some other names here in the prospect pool that I don't know when we'll see them. That's why you are here to enlighten us. Isaiah Wong is another name that's like, okay, did he make a case for himself, and how strong of a case did he make?
Yeah, that last game he went off, and everybody knew it. He finally got his opportunity to be. He was playing in every game and all this other stuff, but with Baylor sitting out, with Jordan Walsh sitting out, he got his opportunity to shine. And he did off the bench, and he made his case. I don't think Isaiah Wong is going to be in a Boston Celtics jersey at all this year. I think, maybe he'll be a main Celtic, you know what I mean? That's really up to him. But, I mean, if I'm him, I'm happy with the way that I walked out of Summer League, because that's what you're doing. You're auditioning, whether it's for the team that you're wearing, the jersey with the front of the name on it.
Be a part of a package later on.
Or you're a part of somebody else's team in the future. So a lot of these guys we got from other teams during this process, and he was one of those guys that just came out and did what he's supposed to do, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he will be a Boston Celtics. It's unfortunate, but that's how it works. All
right, well, inhale and exhale that one. So then give me the name that jumped off at you that says he made the best case to be in a Boston Celtics.
Charles Bassey.
Okay.
I mean,
this one snuck into the roster last minute.
Snuck into the roster last minute. No one was expecting him to be there. Played a 3-game contract with the Boston Celtics for the Summer League, which no one knew going in because he snuck onto the team that it was only going to be 3 games. So they were surprised to see him not, there for Game 4. But, he was fantastic for the Boston Celtics. I mean, he's an NBA player, though. And
I was going to say, does his previous experience level up everything?
Yeah, he's an NBA player. He's a real NBA player who played for real teams that have real coaches, that have real identities. You know what I'm saying? He played for the 76ers, who you're playing behind Joel Embiid. You got real expectations over there. That's where he was drafted to. Then he played for the Spurs, playing over there for, Popovich. Popovich is teaching you real basketball, and that's what he came into the Summer League. That's why it looked so easy. He just played real basketball. He didn't get outside of himself. He wasn't trying to prove anything to anybody about what he couldn't do. He knew who he was, and he was trying to show teams what he already knew, what he could do, and that's why he shined.
Okay, I like the simplicity to that, and I'm slightly surprised that's who you chose. But I'm not. We only had like a hot minute to talk about it on Boston is Under the Chat. But it kind of got overshadowed because we were trying to figure out about Jordan Walsh's ejection. And then, of course, you and I did Hold My Banner leading into Summer League. And it was like, okay, who might jump off the page here? You made a great case for every guy, like a top 5. I, for some reason, clung to Miles Norris. I thought more of a complete package, edge defensively a little bit. But Jordan Walsh's name I cannot escape. Why is that?
Yeah, I mean, Jordan Walsh is the veteran of the Summer League guys, which is crazy to say. I know you don't want me
I
to
can't stand this terminology.
Veterans, but he's been on the Boston Celtics for a couple years now, and so he knows the identity. He knows what it takes. He won the championship here, you know, even though he ain't playing the games. He won the championship here.
He's around the championship caliber.
I mean, that's a real thing. Practicing with those dudes, getting those dudes prepared for NBA games when you're in practice, you know what I'm saying? That takes real lock-in, and it's a real part of the team that people don't talk about.
Right.
But, you know, Jordan Walsh is he's a good player. I mean, he's the reason, like, I'm mad at him right now, to be honest. Like, I'm mad at Jordan Walsh right now because, you know, I know Boston Celtics fans don't care or whatever, but I care. They should have won the championship in this thing. And if he didn't get ejected,
they
you know what I mean? They probably would have won the championship in this thing. But
I said it. You didn't get to air your grievances on chat.
Right.
So.
Well, we'll take the consolation, you know, whatever. It is what it is. 4-1, third best record in Summer League. We'll take it, all right? But look.
Still something.
Jordan Walsh is a good player. You know, what he showed this summer was the ability to make shots. I knew that he could play defense. I knew that he could be a springy energy guy for the Boston Celtics. You saw the feistiness that's in him. He has that Joe Mazzulla, that Jason Tatum, that JB passion where it's like you get out of line in 1 second and next thing you know, he's off the rails.
I didn't expect the level of pop-up, I'm not going to lie.
Right. It was so funny seeing Brad Stevens on the sideline being like, Jordan. You know what I mean? But anyways, yeah, Jordan Walsh he really showed the ability to make shots, which is like the biggest part. He needed to come in. He needed to be aggressive, slashing and cutting to the rim, which we already knew he could do, and he did it. And then he needed to show us that he can make catch-and-shoot jumpers, and he did that at a high level. So I'm impressed with his improvement. I'm excited to see what he can do. Probably be, hopefully, 10 minutes a game this year for him. You know, it might not be every game, but, you know, he could be one of those guys that, once again, Boston Celtics fans fall in love with over the year because he is going to give you energy, that's for sure.
Yeah, energy is circulated around his name from what I've heard from you, what I've read, all the information. You see his name, you see energy next to it, which is very helpful and does fit Mazzulla. But also, I think he'd probably up the ante on the trust factor.
Right.
His trajectory, his growth, the consistency in his growth. It doesn't always have to be this 50% margin in it. He's doing just enough each time to show you that, like, he's putting in the work.
100%. And he's prayed for some crazy coaches. I mean, yes, Mazzulla, you know what I mean? Insane. But also, going back to his college career, he played for Eric Muscleman. And Eric Muscleman, who also coached.
Oh, you did say he was a
nutcase. Like,
I was trying to find the kind way to say it.
I love Eric Muscleman because, like, sometimes you need those crazy coaches. Like, those crazy coaches, like, I always loved them growing up. So that's not even me.
That was your coaching style.
Yeah, I had coaches that broke clipboards and curse you out to here and there. And I'm looking at mom, and my mom's like, don't look at me. Listen to what he's saying. And, you know, and it made me who I am today. You know, it built up toughness, and it got you to, you know, do the things that you needed to do. You know what I'm saying? Was it always necessary? No. But, you know, it definitely made me an energy guy. And so that's why I understand who Jordan Walsh is and who he's becoming because, you know, I played against Eric Muscleman in college, too. He coached against one of my Fresno State teams. And, yeah, he always brought that energy, and he had those crazy dudes that brought that energy like Jordan Walsh did.
All right, so I mean, it feels like the future is bright in terms of where that trajectory continues to go for Walsh. Before we pivot out of this segment, I got to ask, is there a name that hasn't been talked about ad nauseum, at length, or always underneath the clip of, like, keep an eye on this dude that maybe stood out to you a little bit more in this summer league?
Yeah, I think Amari Williams. I just think, you know, him being a winner is a big part of. He won every game that he played in. You know what I mean? They didn't play him in that game against the Miami Heat. Not saying that's the reason that they lost, but
added a little bit to it.
But you know what I'm saying? Every game that he played in, he won. You know, and that's something that Brad has been talking about. He wants winners in the building. And so, you know, he won at Kentucky. He won in the conference that he played in before Kentucky. He's been a winner throughout his career. I hope that he continues to win with the Boston Celtics. That's important. So I love his playmaking ability. That's a huge part. I would like to see him get better with his, you know, touch at the rim. I would like to see him get better with his just ferocity. I think he needs to be a little meaner. But I think he did a lot of great things this summer.
All right, and it's nice to have fresh names jump off the page, especially when, I mean, look, Brad Stevens made it clear, he's not looking to tank this season. He's not even looking to just slide through the season either. He's still sticking to a winning DNA. We can't say that about every NBA team, though, because we've got some reunions that some fans are absolutely psyched about. Actually, the percentage is very low. Other fans, though, we just love a good storyline. But we'll talk about all of that, the potential nursing homes associated with this conversation on the other side of this quick break here on Hold My Banner.